Good morning, everybody. Welcome to uh, an Easy Does It yoga class. My name is Cate Wolff, and I work for Berkshire Yoga, Dance, and Fitness at their studio and offer Easy Does It yoga to the Berkshire community. I hope this is finding everybody feeling healthy and well, and coping with this very strange time in our world. We're going to begin today by warming up at the bar, or, actually it's going to be at my sink, and you can find a place that might work for you to have some support. If you're new to this class, you'll see how that works. And if you're an ongoing student, I welcome you back and hope this is meaningful to you. So before I move to the sink, let's just take a moment to come together and come into the present moment. And you can let your eyes close, or you can have them open, or looking down at your hands, and just become aware of your breathing. The breath is the vehicle that can most readily bring us into the present moment. So just bringing yourself fully to this practice at this time, and noticing the rise and fall of your heart area as you inhale and exhale. Another way that you can attend to the present moment is to become aware of the sensations in your body, whatever surfaces beneath you or at your back, and just feeling the sensation of that against your body. Just being fully here, receptive to whatever we find present in our minds and bodies in this moment, and making room for whatever is there. So we're not trying to change anything or make anything different. We're just opening to what is in the moment. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes if you've had them closed, and you could join me in my kitchen, and you can find yourself a spot that works best for you. I recorded two sessions that didn't actually take, and so I'm hoping that this one will be well received and gives everybody an opportunity to practice together. So we're going to warm up on whatever surface you have. So some people go outside and use a railing. If you want to use your kitchen sink, which is what I use, please feel free to. And separate the feet a little wider than hip width apart, and turning the toes out, and then beginning to circle your hips. You can start off small and get larger. It's totally up to you. You can really hang off your surface, circling and making sure that you're breathing as well. And then changing direction, circling around the hips, warming up the hips and low back. Taking a few more circles. And then coming to standing. And from here, if you'd like to join in, I hope you will, bring the feet as close to the surface that you're using to support yourself as feels right to you. So the closer the feet are, the more the side angle or the half moon pose will be a larger stretch. So the farther out you are, the less of a stretch. And then bringing the right arm up, and you can let yourself hang out if that works for you. Hang out away from whatever your support is and arching to one side and making sure that you're breathing, feeling the stretch through the rib cage and really lifting out of your waist here. And then pulling yourself in and opening up. And I'm going to put my back to you because of the circumstances of this class. So my back is to you now. Left arm comes up overhead, really lifting out of your waist, separating the ribs from the hip bone and arching to the side. And you can always adjust by walking yourself out a little bit more, and you'll have a little bit less of an arch. Or you can walk yourself in a little bit and have a little bit more of an arch. And breathing here. Taking another moment. And then opening the arm and coming to standing as we prepare for some more warm-ups. So we're going to begin with stepping away from the bar or the sink in this instance and bringing the weight onto the left foot, bringing the knee up so that it's in line with your surface. And then if you can, slowly bringing the foot up. So for some people, they may want to use a chair, and you're welcome to have a chair alongside you for any reason. Bringing the knee up, and you can always lift the leg and bring the foot up if that works for you. And then bending into that front knee, the hands come to either side, and we're just pressing forward here and stretching out, dropping the head and chest. And once again, pressing forward and then extending back. And breathing here, letting the head drop. And now lifting the upper body away from the leg. There's a little bit of balance here, so feel free to use a chair or something to support yourself. Hands can come back down, keeping that front leg, that leg that's up, keeping it straight here if that works for you. And then once again, drawing the belly in and lifting the body up to center. And then releasing the hands down, drawing the belly in. And you can use your hand again, or you can use your core muscles to bring the foot back to the floor. And then shaking out the supporting leg as we begin to warm up here a little bit. All right, when you're ready, bringing the weight onto the left foot and lifting it. I just threw it up there. So bringing the knee up and then extending it out and bending into the front leg. And breathing here. Feeling the stretch through the inner thigh, the back of the thigh, and the front of the leg that's on the floor, and then extending back and breathing. And then bending into the front knee once again, lifting the head, and then extending back. Really warming up the hips still here. And pausing here, drawing the belly in, the fingertips reach, and we're lifting away from the leg. Arms come up overhead, holding. You can always hold a chair here, and then folding forward once again, tucking the chin and dropping the head. And breathing. And then one more time, lifting up, bringing the arms up, drawing the belly in as the arms come down, drawing the belly in and bringing the foot away and placing it to the floor and pausing for a moment. So turning sideways to your support, we're going to flatten out the back. So if you have the space in your kitchen, you can bring the hands onto the surface and flatten out your back so that the spine is in line with the tailbone. I'm going to turn sideways because of my kitchen. So flattening the back and bringing the right foot up and stretching it out behind. Nice long reach with the crown of the head and the toes. And then swinging that right leg forward and coming into a bent knee in that front leg. The back foot is lifted. I know it's just, I don't think that you're going to be able to see me clearly. I hope that's okay. Most of you know this is the warrior. So the back heel is lifted. The front knee is right over the ankle. And then you can either hold on to your surface or you can bring your arms overhead or one arm overhead. And then sinking down, lifting through the heart, breathing. Beautiful. Bringing the hands back to your surface, pushing off with that foot, flattening out the back once again. And then bringing that left foot away from the floor, reaching it out. If you are holding onto a bar, you can really extend, reaching through the crown of the head and the toes of the left foot, and then swinging that leg through and coming into warrior on this side. Front knee is bent, back heel is lifted, and we're sinking a little bit into the hips if that works for you. And then bringing the arms up overhead, sinking down, pausing here, feeling the stretch and the strength, and then bringing the hands down, pushing off with that back foot, coming into a flat back once again. And then when you're ready, lifting away and dropping the hips forward. The arms are straight here and coming into a nice big arch, front of the body opening. Pausing, making sure you're breathing. And then when you're ready, walking yourself in. Okay, so when you're ready we're going to do some arm strengthening work. So you can bring your hands close together, shoulder width apart or wider. And the farther you step away from your surface, the more weight you're lifting. So you can decide where you want to have your hands. I guess I could do wider and just get onto the other sink here. So when you're ready, the upper body is just like a board. The head is right over the shoulders, shoulder blades down the back. And we're going to go in for 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're stepping in and straightening the arms and dropping down, just bending into a deep knee bend, straightening out our arms. You can also do this standing and just stretching away from your surface. And then coming to center for another series of 25. So you can change your arm position and you're working some different muscles. Again, deciding how far you want to be away. Shoulder blades down the back, head is right over the shoulders. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 25 more. 4, 3, using your breath. 2, 1, and then hanging down. Bending the knees, dropping the hips, stretching out the arms once again. And then when you feel ready, coming to standing and shaking your arms out and pausing for a moment, getting a drink of water, putting your hair back, whatever works for you. Okay, so we're going to do pull-ups, and it's a little bit more challenging. So we can't hook around the bar. I'm able to like grasp onto my sink this way, but you also can just bring your hands over the top. And this time, how close you are to your surface is how much weight you're gonna lift. So however close you want to be, so your hands can be over, or if you have the capability. I don't think I'm going to do that because it's just not a good hold. So figure out what works for you. The body is nice and straight and pulling in. The elbows are nice and close to the body. 2, 3, 4, 5. Drawing the belly in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're going to do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And straightening out your arms or dropping your hips and straightening them. Nice long reach. Good. And then coming to standing. few more things before we go to our mat. We'll do a supported triangle pose. So separate your feet about a leg length apart and take the right foot. If you're going to your left, take your right foot and bring it in slightly at an angle. And then turning the left foot to face your surface. And then once you're there, the arms can come to the horizon. You are facing basically the same direction as your back foot. And then a nice long reach with the left hand. So as if you were gliding along a countertop, which I am, and your right hip is pressed out, and then the left arm can come overhead. And you can look up at the hand above or down at the foot below. Oh, I also want to mention that your front heel is midpoint to the back foot. So when you feel ready to alter your stance, make sure that that's what's happening. It's just a good cue for alignment. And you can also work with bringing that right arm overhead. So feel free to do that. You can experiment with that and see how that feels to you, or keeping it up overhead, looking up, or looking down, or looking just right out, straight out. And then when you feel ready, inhaling and pressing to center, turning the left foot in and bringing the legs in underneath you for a moment and just taking a pause here. And then when you feel ready, turning the right toes out towards your surface. The feet are about a leg length apart. The back foot turns in slightly, okay? And then that front foot is midpoint, the heel is midpoint to the back foot. And the hips are turned out and the arms come to the horizon. And then sliding across the countertop and bringing the left hand up overhead. And again, you can experiment with bringing the arm all the way alongside you or just keeping it up overhead. You can turn and look down at the foot below or up at the hand above. And pausing here and just breathing for a few moments. The breath is very important here because this takes a lot of energy and effort here. And then when you feel ready, coming back to center and turning the toes in and bringing the feet underneath you and taking a pause for a moment. Okay, so next we're gonna do a balancing pose. So you can use your surfaces to support yourself and you can start out that way. And we don't do this on the bar because there's not enough room, but we have done this before on our mats. It's called the standing stick or warrior 3. So I invite you to take a small step forward onto your right foot and the left heel is going to lift. And the toes can stay on the floor and you can keep your hand on your surface or you can bring it overhead and then slowly lift the back foot. So from here, you might bring your arms out to shoulder height and maybe hinging forward. So if this is hard for you to do, then you can bring a fingertip to your surface and work with bringing that heel up. So if you can also stay at this level and just have the foot away. Or you can hinge more on that right leg and drop the upper body forward and lifting the back leg. And taking another moment here. And then slowly returning to an upright position. And when you feel ready to, we can begin again. This time we're stepping forward with the left foot rotating our weight onto that left leg, really lifting through the crown of the head, the back foot, just the toes can just lift away. Or if you really have difficulty with balance, just keep the left foot on the floor, and you can bring your arms up to shoulder height or keep one finger on the surface that's supporting you or both hands, and you can experiment with hinging forward, lifting the back leg. Taking a moment here, breathing, wiggling and wobbling. Feel free to use a support if you need to, particularly if you want to experiment with really hinging. Feel free to support yourself with your finger. Taking another moment or two, and then slowly coming to an upright position and pausing for a moment. Whew, beautiful. Okay, so before we go to our mat, turning your back to your support, bringing the hands over the top, and how close your heels are to your countertop or whatever you're using, the more arch that you have, and then dropping the hips forward, letting the heart and head lift, and really feeling the shoulder blades draw together, breathing, feeling the opening in the front body. Taking another moment or two here, and then drawing your hips back towards your countertop, dropping the head, coming into a forward folding position here. Taking another moment. And then as you feel ready, rolling yourself up and coming to a standing position. And taking a pause. And maybe you two have to make a journey to your mat. So I am going to bring you along with me. And here we are on our mat. Okay, so I want to adjust here. Excuse me for stepping in and out. So today we're going to practice some sun salutations. So hopefully you can see me well enough. It's just a challenge. It's one of the many things today. Okay, so you can't quite see my head, but that's okay. You can hear my voice. Bringing the feet hip width apart, bringing the hands onto so that they're touching one another in front of you, pausing here for a moment, and then sweeping the arms up and just letting the hips press forward a little bit, arching forward. You can also place your hands on your back if that feels supportive to you, and then hinging forward, and the fingertips come to either side of each foot, and we're going to take the left foot and step way back into the runner stretch. So the ankle and knee are always in line with one another, and we're going to take a pause here for a moment, and then scooting your right foot back to meet your left and coming into plank pose, a lifted plank on our palms. The hips are right in line with the rest of the body. And then the knees come to the floor, the feet soften, and pressing back over your heels, reaching the fingertips out, dropping into the armpits a little bit. Maybe your head comes to the floor. And taking this pause for a moment. And then when you're ready, lifting away from the heels, releasing the upper body forward. Hips come towards the floor. You're on the palms of your hands now. So from here, if you'd like, you could turn your toes under and bring your knees away and maybe hold there for a moment, before inhaling your breath, lifting through your hips, pressing down into the palms of the hands. The upper body reaches toward the thighs, pressing down and away with the hands. The head is right between the arms. So breathing here, feeling the downward dog, maybe taking a moment to bend one knee and then the other, bicycling one knee, one heel down, one knee bent, and then both heels dropping down. And then for some people, they can step their left foot right up between the hands, but many of us can't. So coming down onto the knees again, bringing the left foot, and you can use your hand to bring it up, and then turning the toes of the back foot underneath and coming into the runner stretch on this side, pausing here for a moment, and then pressing off with the back foot, down with the front, and hanging loosely in a forward fold before rolling all the way up, coming all the way up, arching back, and then bringing the hands together and returning them to your heart. So when you're ready, if you'd like to join, we're going to bring the arms up again, arching back. We do a couple of these in a row. And then bringing the hands down, floating down. This time, the right foot is stepping back, and we're not going all the way down. This time, we're going to press into the front foot, bring the hands to the knee. It might take a little balance here, pausing. If this is comfortable for you and you want to try bringing the arms up, you can bring them overhead. Your choice, either keeping the hands on the knee or bringing the hands overhead into warrior like we did earlier. And then bringing the hands back to the floor, scooting that front foot back, coming into plank, and then dropping the knees, softening the feet, pressing back over the heels, tucking the chin in, and pausing here for a moment. And then when you're ready, lifting away from the heels, dropping the hips forward, pausing here for a moment, turning the toes under, bringing the knees away from the floor, and inhaling to downward facing dog. Pressing down and away with the hands, the body's in an inverted V. The heels are heavy but not forced to the floor, and you're reaching through the arms with the upper body. And then if you have the ability, you can step your right foot forward. For those who don't, come down onto the knees. Right foot comes in between the hands. The toes of the back foot turn under, and then bringing yourself to your knees, and you can pause here, or you can bring your arms up overhead. So you can decide what works best for you. Hands up or hands on the knee. When you feel complete, bringing the hands to either side of that front foot, pressing off and down, and bringing the back foot in, hanging loosely for a moment before rolling yourself up. Arms come up overhead, arching back, and then bringing the hands together at your heart. Good. So when you feel complete and you're ready to come to the floor, join me in coming down onto the floor. Taking a moment here, just taking a pause. So we're going to do a couple of more things. One thing we're going to do is to practice our core strengthening, and we're going to do two different exercises for that. One is the plank pose, which many of you who are in my classes know well. So you can begin by coming down onto your forearms. So that's a fine place to start. Some people like to start up on their knees and then just bring the toes under. So you can decide how you want to do that. Either way, the toes come under and then the hips come away from the floor. The upper body is in line with the best, the hips and back are in line with the head and neck. And we're going to do 30 seconds twice. So we're already close to 10. And let your whole hand and forearm really engage here, okay? Breathing. And taking another few moments, and then we're going to be at 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and releasing down. And maybe bringing your hands in underneath you, turning your head to one side and taking a pause here. And then when you feel like you've had enough of a pause, come back to your forearms. We'll do another 30. So when you're ready, you can turn your toes under and bring the hips away from the floor. They stay right in line with the rest of the head. And you're breathing, looking down at the floor, having your eyes closed. Either way is fine. And breathing. And really feel the whole arm and hand as we are moving into our second 10. Breathing as we go into 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then releasing down. And turning the head to one side. Maybe bending at the knees and windshield wipering the knees from side to side. Taking some long, deep breaths as I change the position of my mat. And now I'm going to come to a position to introduce a new core strengthening move. So when you're ready to come down onto your back, you can let the feet come onto the floor for a minute and just pause. Okay, so in this, this core strengthening, the knees come up into a bent position so that the calves are parallel to the floor and the arms come overhead. And we're going to straighten the left leg and bring the right arm in. And then changing sides. So keep those legs in a parallel position. The heels want to drop, but see if you can keep them up. The upper body is relaxed. And we are just extending one leg and bringing one arm in. And drawing the belly down towards the spine. You might begin to feel this now. And we're going to do a few more on each side. So see if you can relax everything but the core is doing the work. And we're going to do 5 on each side. So that's 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, uh-oh, 4, and 5, 5. Wow, okay. And then bringing the legs in and maybe rocking a little bit from side to side. Okay. So when you feel ready to join me, if you'd like, in bringing your feet to the floor. They're hip width apart. And you can have your hands on either side of you as you slowly press down in a way with your upper body. Some people like to bring their hands together underneath and walk the shoulder blades together. The chin is tucked in to lengthen the neck. And you can be in this position, or if it's difficult for you to get your hands underneath you, you can bring the hands alongside your body, pressing down into the forearms as you lift through the hips into the bridge pose. So breathing here, taking another moment or two. See if you can hold. You're welcome to come in and out of this as it feels right to you. Feeling strength, building in the legs, taking another moment. And then gradually lowering yourself down. And maybe you'd like to bring the knees right up again, and maybe creating some circles with your knees just to massage the low back, changing direction. Awesome. And then rolling onto one side and bringing yourself back to the seated position when you're ready to. Just looking at my clock. Okay, we're still have a few more minutes. So when you're ready, coming to a seated position. And if you have a cushion nearby and you would like to use a cushion or a blanket, you can bring one right underneath your tailbone. And that will help to lift your hips. And then when you're ready, separate the feet to either side. And then from here, consider walking the hands out. So you can have your hands on your legs, or you can bring them out in front. The crown of the head is lifted up. The upper body is kind of back, even though we're hinging more at the hips than the upper body. We'll fold forward in a moment, but just bringing the hands to the floor and letting the upper body just rest against the limits that are set by your body. And see if you can find some relaxation wherever you land, maybe deepening your breath a little bit. Just hanging out right up against the limits. Some people like to put their hands on their legs and use the arms to encourage the folding forward. It's up to you, or you can have your hands just nice and relaxed in front. And then when you're ready, tuck your chin. And the upper body will fold, the shoulders will come in toward one another, and breathe here for a moment. Breathing. Another few moments to just see if you can soften wherever you find yourself. More deep breaths. And then when you're ready, walking yourself away, bending the knees and bringing them in. next to one another and shake them out a little bit. And taking a pause here. Okay, when you're ready, join me in crossing your right foot over your left. And some people can bring their left foot around. If that's possible for you, you're welcome to do that. It doesn't matter either way. You can keep your left leg outstretched and then wrap your left arm around your right leg and allow it to help you lift through the crown of your head. And then once there, reaching the fingertips out, sweeping the hand around behind you. The rib cage is going to turn toward that right leg, that bent leg, and slowly the rib cage presses around the shoulders. And then if you'd like, you can turn your head and look over your right shoulder. And breathing here. Taking another moment or two in this twisting form. And then gradually come back to center and extending the right leg and bringing the left foot over the right leg, wrapping the right arm around, allowing this wrapping of the arm to help you lift through the crown of your head, and then reaching the left arm and bringing it all the way around behind you, moving it in close to the body. The rib cage turns toward the bent leg. The shoulders turn towards the bent leg, and then looking over your left shoulder. And breathing here. Another moment or two. Looking over your back shoulder. And then gradually releasing back around and coming to an upright position with your legs out in front, just pausing for a moment. And then I invite you to come back down onto your back. And maybe it's comfortable for you to bring your knees up, or that's what you're inclined to do. So if you are, maybe rocking a little bit from side to side over the spine, or circling the knees again, feeling the low back get massaged. And if you're circling the knees, you can change direction and just feel the sensation of the surface below you, just massaging the low back. And then from here, if you'd like, turn your knees out, bring your soles of your feet together. You can take hold of your legs at the ankle, or if you can reach the toes, you can bring the toes together and drop both knees out to either side. Just pausing here for a moment, opening up the inner thigh a little bit more. And breathing. And then from here, if you'd like to join me, you can consider bringing the hands to the insides of the feet. The soles of the feet face up to toward the ceiling. And the feet can separate a little bit as you just apply some very gentle pressure to the bottoms of your feet so that the knees drop towards the floor. And feeling this happy baby pose. Taking another moment. And then when you feel complete, releasing the feet to the floor, separating the feet out and dropping the knees toward one another. So from here, you can move some more if your body is so inclined. or you can find a position to rest in Shavasana, a relaxation pose. You can be on your back with your legs out straight. You can put a cushion under your knees. You can turn to one side and bring a cushion underneath your head. And just allow yourself to integrate what has occurred up until this point. And taking a few moments to just be in Shavasana and just resting.